The subject of this tutorial is open G tuning. And open tunings are very interesting because, as the name indicates, you can produce chords just by strumming open strings. In this case, I'm getting a G major chord by just strumming the first 5 strings on the guitar. So let's take a look at the pitches that the strings are tuned to, and then we'll look at some applications and chord fingerings. The 6th string is tuned down a whole step to a D note. The 5th string is tuned down a whole step to a G. The 4th string stays the same on a D. The 3rd string stays the same on a G. The 2nd string stays the same on a B. And the 1st string is tuned down a whole step to a D. By having the ability to play a chord using these open strings, you can then be free to add melody notes on any of the other strings without having to hold a chord at the same time. You can also produce other major chords by just holding the first finger down across 5 strings. This makes it very easy to embellish or add extensions to that major chord with your other 3 fingers. The Rolling Stones, as an example, often have a guitar tuned to an open G, and they'll hold that major chord and use something like the 2nd and 3rd finger to accent that chord. And you'll see very few of their songs that don't have that particular sound in them. Well, our major and minor chords are going to be altered in their fingerings. So let's look at some chords that would be associated with the key of G, and we'll look at how we'd have to change them for this particular tuning. I'll just play through them once, and then in the next segment we'll go through them with a little bit more detail. Of course, the G, we've got the open. So you notice that all of those, I left this first string droning the whole time. I'm just basically putting a D on top of each chord, and you can get away with that. That was using the 5th string as the root of all those. You can also do your chords having the 6th string as the root, so those would look like this. So in that case, we had the 6th string as the root, and I was leaving a D and a B droning on top of each chord. So in our next segment, we'll take a look at those fingerings in a little bit more detail so that we can play chords out of the key of G.
We're going to talk about a song that I wrote called Angry Eyes. Angry Eyes is sort of an evolution of a theme that I had put in a movie one time, and it had a dark edge to it.